Runchari Oyeyo. I'm the CEO for the Center for African Progress, a company that does research. We do market research, we do opinion polls, and we also conduct management and leadership training. So today, on the 18th of November 2025, we are releasing a research or a study on the popularity of cabinet secretaries that is based on their performance. This is a study that was conducted between the 16th and the 17th, between the 14th and the 16th of this month. We used a sample of 6,000 adult Kenyans aged between 18 and 70 years old. It was evenly split between men and women, 50% each. That means 3,000 men, 3,000 women. And the aim was to find out the perceptions, all the views they have regarding the cabinet that is in place, that was of course appointed by His Excellency President William Ruto. So this assessment of the popularity of cabinet secretaries is purely based on performance. In other words, we requested Kenyans to give us the cabinet secretaries they feel are doing a better job, and then of course based on the feedback that we got, we were able to rank them from number 1 all the way up to number 20. So we've shared the results with you, and Kenyans of course have a variety of opinions regarding the extent to which their cabinet secretaries are delivering or failing to deliver on the mandates that they were given as per their performance contracts that they signed with the president.
What made you come up with this opinion poll?
Now, I couldn't call it an opinion poll, I call it a study. Okay, the reason as why we did this is where there have been complaints. Kenyans are complaining because of a variety of issues, and we were driven into the study to find out whether it's just Nairobians who complain, or even Kenyans in the rural areas also concerned with the performance of the cabinet. We've had an issue to do with health. We've had people complaining about SHA. We've had issues of money being sent to non-existent hospitals. And we've also had issues to do with education, the lecturer strike. We've had an issue with capitation. So we wanted to find out the extent to which these issues have affected the performance perceptions of the cabinet secretaries.
What solutions do you normally give when conducting this this research to the public?
Our job is to do research. We don't come up with solutions to problems, and of course the feedback we have can be used for decision making. For example, when you look at our ranking, the CS for energy, that is Opio Wandai, was ranked first. Obviously that means a good number of Kenyans perceive him as being able to perform, and then we have cabinet secretaries such as Beatrice Moe, who is the CS for East African Community, who ranked last. And shockingly, some Kenyans told us they don't know the names of some of these cabinet secretaries. So once the ranking is out, even the president can use the results to make a decision on which CS can come back, or which CS should be, even sent home for purposes of, delivering for Kenyans. Because if Kenyans are convinced that a particular CS is not delivering and is kept in the cabinet, then of course that affects the performance of the president. Because at the end of the day, as you saw from the results, most Kenyans place, the whole idea of responsibility on the doorstep of the president. When our cabinet secretary is not able to deliver, they believe the president should do what? Make a decision to either relieve them of their duties or transfer them to a less demanding docket. So the buck stops with the president.
Maybe as an expert,
yes,
who is to blame when it comes to the corruption and people failing each other?
The buck stops with the president. At the end of the day, the constitution gives powers to the president to appoint or nominate all these people. Then the names are sent to parliament for confirmation. So once they're confirmed and they're given the space to deliver, the president, through the monitoring and evaluation systems of government, can be able to tell whether a particular CS is working or not. So based on the outcome, some guys can be sent home so as to create space for better performing individuals. And if the president is not able to take action, obviously he takes the blame. At the end of the day, when you look back all the way to independence, we remember the presidents, but we don't go down to remembering the names of people who served in various positions of government. So the buck stops with the president. He's the one who has the mandate to make decisions to hire and fire these guys. So if a CS who's not delivering is kept in office, the blame goes to the president. For example, now if we are told the CS for East African community is not even known, it's the president to call her to order and tell her, hey, it looks like you're not doing anything. So she can either be sent home or she's, guided on how she can become more effective in a position.
Yeah, we had the general election in like 1 or 7 months, 1 and 7 months time maybe. Ungewazungumzia nini wale ambao kwamba wameona kwamba hawa mabwana hawajawajibika na ndio tunaelekea katika uchaguzi?
The general election is in 2027. We still have some time, but we have by-elections coming up in some wards and some constituencies because some of these guys were appointed to the cabinet and then their positions were left vacant. Now the point is, if the president has to increase chances of being re-elected, he has to do a reshuffle, send some cabinet secretaries home and bring in new ones who can deliver. So, and unlike in the past when Kenyans were not so concerned about service delivery, Kenyans have moved. Okay. So if you're not doing what they elected you to do, then they can punish you at the elections. So if the president wants to make his re-election campaign easy, he has to make sure he has men and women in the cabinet who can deliver for him. But on the other hand, if he keeps all these guys who are perceived to be lazy, then it will make it very easy for the opposition, number one, to paint him as being not able to deliver, and then number two, tell Kenyans to do what? To pick the alternative, who I guess will be the presidential candidate put forward by the united opposition. So there's still time. In politics we say 1 day is a very long period and anything can happen. Chochote chaweza kutokea. Yeah.
They don't find that facility to be, existing. And then Duale made a very funny statement saying that such facilities will be closed. And then, Kenyans were wondering, how do you close those facilities does not exist? So we had that controversy, but it does well, nevertheless. Musalia Mudavadi, the CS for Foreign Affairs, recently Kenyans have complained of lack of protection by the governments when outside the borders of this country. We had Kenyans being killed in Tanzania. We had Kenyans being lied to by Russians and then being shipped all the way to Moscow to fight Russia's war against Ukraine. And we've had Kenyans dying in the Arab countries, in the name of greener pastures. You get very young girls being told, oh, let's take you to Lebanon, let's take you to Saudi Arabia. You're going to find a wonderful job there, only to be taken to a very, very funny Arab belly guy who beats you the whole day. So we've had such complaints being raised by Kenyans. Sorry? Some of them. Yeah, and of course, you saw what happened to Zagi and Yoyo. They were kept in a freezer in Uganda for more than a month. And so such issues have been raised, and the blame has been leveled against the CS the docket of foreign affairs. But then, of course, Musalia Mudavadi has made some efforts, and that is the kind of person I think we need, according to the feedback we're given by people. He's soft enough to be the best diplomats for this country, because for you to win a negotiation, you have to appear to be composed, calm, and collected. And I think that is why he performs relatively well. Kabogo ICT is at number 5. Chirichiri number 6 for roads. That is what Kenyans were saying, but I think that credit goes to the president because he has taken up the issue of roads, specifically under the larger docket of infrastructure. He has made it his project, most from place to place, launching roads and all that. So the credit for the CS for roads, I think, should be given to the president because he has personalized that kind of effort. The CS for tourism, that is Rebecca Miano, gets 7%. She's ranked number 7. 2-year defense 5.4 at number 8. Mining Ali Hassan Zoho gets 5.2, 9 at number 9. And then, of course, to close the top 10 is the CS for Greek, Mutai Kawe, who is the former CS for health. When we had COVID, at least the guy was handling health and he did a very wonderful job. And when his name came up, some Kenyans were saying maybe should have been given a different docket. That's what they were telling us. But then again, we don't have that kind of power. But we've had the issue of putting a round peg in a square hole, so it does not fit. So they feel like he's handling a docket which is not what he should be handling. But when we've tried to do some research, we actually discovered this guy is a journalist, a communications guy. So even when he was doing it in health, it's not like he was a doctor or anything. So which basically means so long as you want to school, you don't have to handle a docket which is within your area of training. You can still do well. So now, number 11 is the CS for trade, Lee Kinyanjui. Now, there's an issue that we're able to come up with in our research. So most of these guys are actually unknown. Hata nyinyi nikiuliza kwa saa hii kama mmesikia jina Beatrice Moe, I mean, I've heard the name. Yeah, so it was quite funny because the names were not coming up. These are, this person here, what wanasema? Say that again. Turkana. Turkana. She's on the ground. You know her at a personal level. Okay.